If you hear a pitch from a relative or a friend who tells you that he's found the chance of a lifetime for you, a chance to make tens of thousands of dollars in your spare time, watch out. You'll be told that all you have to do to begin is pay out a few $100s to join and then go out and get 2 more folks to pay a few $100s. And when they recruit 2 more and so on, your money will start rolling in. Well, the fact is that as many as 10 million Americans take part in this thing called network marketing. Some of these companies are legitimate, but some of them are devastating con games, illegal pyramid schemes. Tonight, meet a man the federal government says ran one of the biggest illegal pyramid schemes ever created in the United States. Stan Van Etten is the 37-year-old founder of a network marketing company called International Heritage. And these are some of the tens of thousands who bought into International Heritage, IHI. The company's national conventions, like this one, videotaped by IHI, were not typical business meetings. Instead, they seemed to be celebrations.
We have 3,000 new reps that join the company every single week, just like you. You're in the right place at the right time with the greatest company that's ever been around. Woo!
And for a while, International Heritage really did look like a winner. Van Etten launched it back in 1995, and by last summer, he'd convinced nearly 200,000 people across the U.S. and Canada to join IHI as sales representatives. To these excited folks, the IHI pitch was irresistible. They could buy in for about $1,000 each and then do what IHI told them to do in videos like this one.
International Heritage has one of the best compensation plans in network marketing, offering you significant income and unlimited earnings potential.
And soon they were told they'd be making good money in their spare time by selling luxury merchandise, Coach leather bags, Callaway golf clubs, not door to door, but in the living rooms of their friends and neighbors. Beyond that, they could make more money by getting those friends and neighbors to become IHI sales representatives too. These 4 people went for the pitch and bought into IHI: Russ McDaniel, Stephanie Nichols, Rhonda Porter, and Pat Fellers, a school teacher from Kansas who joined IHI and immediately recruited her 3 children.
It was sold to me that you want to retire and you want to still live a good life and this sort of thing, and you want your kids to have a good life, and this would be a good investment.
Russ McDaniel, a chiropractor, closed his practice to recruit for IHI full-time.
And so I had a lot of patients say they were sad that I was doing that, but I felt like if I could make a 2 or 3 year run at this, it could set my family up possibly for the rest of their lives.
My best friend came to me and she said, I don't know about this industry, I don't know what I'm talking about, but she said, I want you to come over to a meeting, and everybody was extremely excited. Everybody said, you know, this will work, you can make money at this.
As sales representatives, were you told to go out and sell IHI's products?
With a wink. They were told, you need to retail product too, and if you can, good job.
It's basically about signing up more and more people, period.
Right. They would tell you, with a wink, you know, you need to sell product, but nobody did. I mean, literally, of the people that I knew in my business, no one sold product like that.
And that's the way Van Etten set up IHI. He never intended for the sales reps to sell those products. Instead, the real money they could make would come from getting other folks to buy into IHI, by convincing them to put in $1,000 too. It says so right here in the company's recruiting material. Sponsor 2 other people. Duplicate. Because this earns you commissions from the money your recruits pay to join IHI. Say that you paid that $1,000 to IHI for the privilege of recruiting as many people as you could into the company as sales reps. For that $1,000, you got not only a percentage of what your recruits paid in, but a percentage of everything their recruits paid in. And if your recruits enlisted enough other recruits, you could make a lot of money, theoretically. And no one was better at selling that path to a pot of gold than Stan Van Etten himself.
We are just beginning our long-term journey to success and your successful retirement from a standard day-to-day job and the shackles of society.
Billed as the charismatic whiz kid from Wall Street, a corporate visionary who advertised he had taken part in 77 public offerings and had raised more than $1 billion in investment capital, he lived what he called a life of excellence in this luxurious home in Raleigh, North Carolina. He had a private airplane. He and his wife wore matching gold and diamond Rolex watches. It was this image of success and business savvy that lured so many people into IHI. People like Yvonne Eckenroth, who was one of the first investors and who sat on the company's board of directors.
When I sat down and spent 4 hours with him and talking to him, I realized he was probably borderline being genius.
Honorable, you thought?
Oh, yes. I thought that he was as straight and narrow as they come.
When you watch him, you believe. He just really makes you believe what he's saying. And he looks ahead to the future and says, you can do this, you can be this. Doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter your education. This works for everybody.
And so it seemed until last year. As thousands of IHI sales reps celebrated the company's best year yet at their national convention in New Orleans, they'd signed up 100,000 new sales reps. The Securities and Exchange Commission in Washington stopped International Heritage dead in its tracks. The SEC filed a lawsuit against Stan Van Etten, labeling IHI one of the biggest pyramid schemes the Commission had ever seen. The SEC said IHI had violated federal securities laws because they misrepresented themselves as a retail business selling merchandise when in fact they sold no products to the public. And beyond that, because IHI's recruits were not told that the pyramid would eventually run out of new investors, collapse, and the recruits would almost certainly lose all their money.
It's a mathematical trick on the people who get involved.
Robert Fitzpatrick is an expert on network marketing and illegal pyramid schemes. He wrote a book about it called False Profits.
Essentially what it does is take money from one group and give it to the people at the top. So the people at the top are getting income from the continuously expanding base of investors below. The reason that's a fraud is mathematically that cannot continue forever.
Why?
Well, just do the numbers, for example. If I enroll 5 people and get their money, and they can get their money back by each enrolling 5 also, and they in turn do the same thing. If you just do that out 13 cycles, you exceed the population of the earth.
Is there any doubt in your mind that International Heritage was an illegal pyramid?
No doubt in my mind at all.
And there was no doubt in the mind of North Carolina's Attorney General Mike Easley, who forced IHI and Stan Van Etten to stop doing business in his state a full year before the SEC took action.
He was in the business of bankrupting people, and he was in the business of ruining people's lives, and it was our job to stop him.
Why should the state get involved? If people want to invest money, they're adults. They know where they want to put their money.
Part of the state's job is to make certain that people have all the facts. And a pyramid scheme doesn't give them all the facts. If people knew up front what a pyramid scheme does, what it's all about, and that they were 98% sure that they were not going to get anything back, they wouldn't invest in that. That's not what they're told. They're told, give us your money and you're going to be wealthy. And that's not what's going to happen.
So while Van Etten and others at the top of the IHI pyramid made millions, folks at the bottom of the pyramid, like these former sales reps, lost not only their initial investment, but thousands of dollars more, doing just what they were told to do, traveling from city to city, hosting meetings, trying to convince other people to buy into IHI.
Last year, my 1099 form was only $600. So you can see I didn't do very well in this business, and I can promise you I spent way more than that in supplies and trips and in all things that I put into the business.
How much do you think you lost?
At least $5,000 I put in.
Pat Fellers invested $6,000, money she had set aside for her retirement and for her kids' college education.
And yet in the back of my mind, my original thought was this is a pyramid scheme. When my friends first talked to me about it, in fact, I said, this sounds like a pyramid scheme. No, it isn't that. It isn't that. Well, I should have gone with my initial feelings.
I had a lot of friends that lost a lot of money in this, including myself, but I guess more than that, it hurts that we were deceived. And I would have said, again, a year ago, there's no chance. Now I look back and think I got conned by some of the best.
Apparently, the con began with Van Etten's own resume. Nowhere in the company's recruitment material was there any mention of what he had really done during his 10 years on Wall Street. What he did was work as a top salesman for this man, notorious penny stock swindler Robert Brennan at First Jersey Securities, and at two other firms connected to Brennan. Did none of you know that he spent a great deal of his career pushing penny stocks for companies that were eventually shut down for defrauding people?
I did not know that.
No.
No, we were told he took 77 companies public. He was a whiz kid on Wall Street.
Right. Raised $1 billion in venture capital. In fact, they called him the Bill Gates of Wall Street.
Did the people to whom you sent IHI material like this, did they know about First Jersey Securities?
No, they did not.
In other words, they were
some
buying blind. You didn't put that in your material.
No, I wouldn't say they were buying blind. We didn't try and hide them, but certainly they were not exposed to the masses of people for IHI.
Stan Van Etten says that regulators came after him because of his checkered past. He claims he is being singled out, and that International Heritage operated just the way scores of other network marketing firms operate. But that's not how former IHI board member Yvonne Eckenroth sees it. She lost everything she put into the company. Of course, he still maintains it's a legitimate multi-level marketing company and that he did nothing wrong.
He believes that.
He does.
I'm sure he does. People that are pathological liars believe themselves.
I don't even know how to respond to that. I guess it really boils down to the company is gone, International Heritage has failed, and with that loss, there's a need to blame.
Last fall, Van Etten closed down IHI and filed for bankruptcy. And almost everyone involved in the company lost a lot of money. All told, more than $175 million. Van Etten claims that he too lost money, but court records show that over the 3 years IHI was in business, Van Etten was paid more than $6.5 million.
I assumed the most risk. I built the company. I put the most money into it, and I intended to profit from that relationship.
Do you have any idea how many homes have been lost because they can't keep up mortgage payments?
Sure.
Or
People
how many
develop
marriages have busted up? It's a sad, sad story.
I started out by saying that wears on me daily. It is the death of the company that has caused the pain and the financial loss. It is not Stan Van Etten.
Despite all that's happened, Van Etten still maintains he has done nothing illegal. He says that if the SEC hadn't filed a lawsuit against IHI, the company would still be thriving. And believe it or not, there are still folks who lost their money in IHI who have not lost their faith in Stan Van Etten.
Stan still has a following today of people that if Stan said, I'm going to head up another company and we're going to kick it off, he would have a following like you wouldn't believe.
Even the people who lost so much money first time around?
There are
with him?
so many that still think that Stan hung the moon and stars. But then there's those that would like to see him behind bars.
I think it's safe to say that the problems of IHI are not yet over.
North Carolina's Attorney General Mike Easley may be right about that, because the FBI is currently investigating IHI and Stan Van Etten for possible criminal indictment.